I will proceed with sharing my screen. Just one sec. Let me know when you can see my PowerPoint.
We can see it now. Yes.
Okay. All right. So hi everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm actually quite thrilled to be here today and to share with you what I know, basically. So I am Zahra, and I've been a software engineer for like 5 years now. And I'm also a Google Women Tech Maker ambassador. I do a lot of public speaking, and I also write a lot of technical content whenever I can, actually. But yeah, I do these things. Today, I will be presenting to you basically this topic, which is building AI using a Vertex AI agent builder and Flutter. Just to note that this session is actually going to be very brief because I was quite taken up with work, so I could not really bring myself to give you guys a demo. So I'm just going to be going through it briefly, but I think this brief session is going to help you understand a bit about how we can leverage onto Vertex AI Agent Builder and how we can use Flutter along with that. I have curated the session as such, so we are going to be looking into our use case, and then I will be explaining to you some Gemini models, because throughout this session we will be using this word often. Then we will start with building this application. It will be just a brief once again. I won't be going into much detail because I expect some knowledge of how we start an application from scratch, but I will only be showing you the main implementations. Then I will be explaining LLMs, RAG, and AI agents. Only then we will be moving to the Vertex AI agent builder, and then we will complete the app afterwards, right? So let me tell you guys about what this app is about. This app is actually an already built app, and it has been built by the Google developers team during the Google I/O. And I came across this and I found this pretty much interesting, how there are many ways that we can leverage onto the products that they have, right? That Google is offering to us. And of course, one of them being the Vertex AI agent builder. So they had made previously an application called Photo Discovery. It is kind of like a wiki. And actually, this application, what we can do with it is that I can take my phone or whatever device that you have. You can either pick an image from your library, or you can take a new image using your camera itself. Now, this application has been written using Flutter, and it has been deployed onto different platforms. In fact, you can deploy it onto different platforms because Flutter is cross-platform, meaning that you can write a single code base and you can deploy it on either Android, iOS, Windows, macOS, you name it. So this is how we will be doing this today. We'll be using Flutter, and then we will be using Vertex AI and Firebase, and I will show you how we can integrate that AI part, where basically the user is entering that image, and the user is going to ask about what the image is, to give it some description and everything, and the AI is just going to do that. All right, moving further. So yeah, let's understand what Gemini models are. Now, there are various Gemini that exist. And of course, Gemini is considered, the Gemini 2.5 Pro is considered to be the most advanced model that we have. And it is, of course, developed by Google. And this Gemini model is also considered to be able to handle complex things, right? So whatever that you give it, it should be able to do. Now, how is that possible? It's of course due to its three main features that I've listed here. The first one being advanced reasoning and problem solving. Now, what does it mean is that um, you would think that the model could predict only text and it would just be that, but no, the model can go far beyond this, right? You can give it complex situations and it can in fact work around it and everything. I will show you later how. You have massive context window, meaning that of course there will be some millions of tokens that the model can leverage onto. So for example, if you give it a large data set, well, it will be able to use that large data set and give you whatever responses that you need. It has multimodal capabilities, which is just what we need, because it can not only accept or give responses as text, but it can also leverage on images. So you can insert an image. In fact, it can also generate images. It can also be for audio, videos, or even codes. So it has the ability to do all of that. Now, you could use any Gemini model of your choice. For me, I'm using Gemini 2.5 Pro. Of course, there is the 3.5 Flash or Pro, I believe, but I think this one will work just fine. Now, let's see how we can bring our photo discovery wiki to life. So like I mentioned that this application, this code, source code is already existing, right? So it is open source, and in fact, you can clone this repository through using this here. I will be sending this command to the chat later, but you can use git command and this link to basically clone the repository on your machine. There is also on the repository itself, it is there are README files, and it is quite descriptive as how you can go about it and everything. There are a few packages that we will be using throughout this, the Firebase AI, because we need to use the Vertex AI. We will be using Firebase Core because it allows us on its framework to use to implement that AI. There is the image receiver permission handler because we are actually using our camera to take images or having to go inside of a library to pick images. So we have to request for permission, which is why the permission handler. And also the Flutter chat UI package, which is going to allow us to make the chat possible through an existing package. Now, like I mentioned here, we are using Firebase AI and Firebase Core. So, of course, to be able to make this application fully possible, we will have to initialize and configure Firebase inside of our project. Otherwise, we could be building this application, but if we don't do this, we won't be able to use the AI itself. So firstly, we have to log in. So you have to be authenticated. So you use Firebase login if you are not already authenticated. Then you run this command flutterfire configure. Now with flutterfire configure, which is a really good command to have, because long ago we were not really using this. So here, what we can do is we can create or choose an existing project, an existing Firebase project on our command line. So you either create or you choose it. Now, once you've done that, it is going to also ask you to either to configure to configure Firebase onto like the different platforms. So you can choose to configure it on Android, iOS, macOS, web, or Windows. For me, here I've chosen everything. So this will be configured on all the platforms. So as you can see here, it is saying registered a new Firebase Android app. So that's when you know that it is actually working fine and registering and initializing it correctly. How do you know that the first step that you would know, like how you would know that this is a success, is when you see this here, it will tell you, okay, these are the different Firebase app IDs that has been generated. Now you need to check in a specific file that will be generated in your Flutter project whether it has these app IDs has and the keys has already been generated there. So this file is the Firebase option file. This is where the app IDs and the keys will be generated. And it is a very important file because you need to check it. If you see it empty, you will have to go through the Flutter file configure command again. Now, Firebase.json is also going to be generated inside of the root of your application, and then the Google Services.json as well. It has to be added into the different platform specifics. If you don't see it, this specific file, you can download it on the Firebase console. So these are the three main files which are going to be generated. Now we will get into some like actual codes. Here, what this code is actually saying and where we need to actually use this is inside of our main dot. Why do we actually use this is because we want our application to be able to connect or communicate with some native APIs. So which is why we have to initialize the widget Flutter binding and initialized. And then we also have to initialize Firebase. Because even though you might have tried to create those files that we've seen previously, like these ones, and even though you have already run the Flutter configure, it doesn't mean that inside of your Flutter project, it's actually using Firebase. So this is why we are actually using this line of code here. Now, like I mentioned, inside of the project itself, we will have to request for permission. I will be showing you the project source code later, but this is like some glimpse of how it's going to be like. So here I'm going to request permission for both my camera and for photos. Once we have been given permission, we will be able to then pick an image either from our camera or from the gallery. So basically, the pick image method is doing just that, right? So there will be two buttons, and the two buttons are going to leverage onto that single method. The only thing which is going to change is that it's going to have like a parameter of either camera as source or gallery as source. And then once, okay, here I'm showing you this pick image method. So as you can see here, the way that the project has been built is that it's going to pick an image, and then the rest of the codes are going to be a standard. So whether the user has picked camera or whether the user has picked gallery, it's the code is going to be doing just the same thing, which is it's going to convert the image as bytes because that's how our machine will read it. And then we are going to be saving that image on our phone, which is going to be called in the save image method from image that receiver. And we are going to be setting the state of that image, right? Because we want to then show this image on our screen. I will later show you how it looks through some images. So, which is why this set state of image. We also call our method send vertex message. So basically, we are creating this application, but we have built this part where it's being able to use camera or even select from gallery. Now we also want to be able to talk to the AI, which is why the send vertex message. Before we look into this, I'm going to show you that first we have to instantiate our model. So we are actually calling the generative model through the Firebase Vertex AI, which is why the package of earlier. The model we are using is, it should have been 2.5 Pro, sorry. It's a mistake here, but the model, well, it can be any model that you're using, should be that it's able to, in fact, take as input an image. So you need to look into which one would do this. Now, we are also passing as parameters temperature and response MIME type. Now, why are we doing this is because temperature 0 is just to reduce the hallucinations on our responses, to be able to get a more accurate response from the AI. And then we also want to receive the response in the form of JSON, which is why I'm setting response MIME type as JSON. Now let's go back to reviewing what this send vertex message is. Now, since we want to send our image to the AI and also the information, what we are going to be doing here is we will leverage onto this method, and then once the AI gives us some response, we are going to be decoding it, and then we are going to be structuring it, which is why the dot from JSON, the metadata object, right? The reason we are doing this is because we want to be able to display this on the screen. That's why we are actually making it in a more structured format. So this is what this part of the code is doing here. So here, as you can see, it's the dot from JSON method where it's actually able to bring our JSON to a more structured format. Now I will be talking about LLMs, RAGs, and AI agents, because I believe that it is quite important before getting into the how we can use the Vertex AI agent builder. So these are some terms, just some basic terminologies that we need to know of. But of course, you can read in depth about it in your own time. So an LLM is just a neural network where we can train massive amount of data so that we can predict, for instance, a response, right? Like let's say that you wanted to predict some codes. You should be able to do this using or predict anything, right? You should be able to do this using models like GPT, Gemini, or Claude. Now, these models, they also have some limitations. That is, the LLMs itself has a limitation, which is that it can produce bias, hallucinations, or even inaccurate responses. And we don't want that to happen. which is why at some point RAG came about, and I'm pretty sure that many of you have been hearing of the word RAG. So basically, to be able to handle all these problems, RAG is used in such a way that it can actually store history of information. For instance, it can be stored on a database, and whenever the model needs it, you will see in a while how it might be needing it. But whenever the model needs it, if a user is trying to, let's say, ask a question, it can then retrieve the relevant data from the database. So this is basically a bit about RAGs. Now, RAGs also have some, well, we are not just using RAGs, right? We're using RAGs plus the LLM itself. Now, even this, it has some form of limitations because let's say that you wanted to do something more complex, like build complex, intelligent uh, tools, or you wanted to build some multi-step workflows. How would you do this? Then you would use something like probably some AI agents. Now, what actually is AI agent? AI agent can be thought of as some smart computer program that it actually can, what it can do is that it can perceive the AI agent itself, it can perceive its environment, it can make decisions, and then it can take some actions. So it's always going to be in this three-step rule: perceive, decide, and then it's going to take some actions. Like, let's say, for example, I give you an example of a chatbot. So a chatbot, a simple chatbot example, which is like in customer service. So there are some customer questions. The AI agent is going to be taking this customer question. It's going to decide on its own the appropriate answers, and then it's going to basically generate those answers automatically. So this is a bit how it works. Now, we can also build AI agents, and a very interesting way to do this is by leveraging on what we have, uh, which is the Vertex AI agent builder. Now, the Vertex AI agent builder is actually interesting in the sense that it has a suite of products. So this suite of products, it allows you to build your AI agents the way that you would want it to be, and then you can also deploy it in production, right? So there are the two main ways that you can do it is, first, you can do it yourself, so you can build your agent yourself, design it, give it some prompts, enter some of the files, data that it's going to be using, or even APIs. Or you can use on the Vertex AI agent builder, there is something called, I think, App Garden or Vertex Garden, something like that. Now, on there, this specific feature or service, sorry, you're going to be having pre-built uh, agents that you can use, and in fact, for you can also customize it to meet your needs. So, for example, if you needed a customer service AI agent, they already have it. You can try to play with it, and if you need it for like production, uh, for a more uh, for a production, uh, to push it to production, basically you can customize it as you need. So basically that's what you can do with it. So of course, there are different ways that you can use this Vertex AI builder. The first one being, you can create your functions, your cloud functions, online, deploy it through the interface and everything, or you can write codes and then you just host it on a Docker server and you run it. Now it's up to you how you would like to do this. Either way, you would still need to write some functions. So let me show you a very simple function that we will be using in this particular app. So here, what this is actually about, this code is actually a function calling tool. This is what we call it. It is a tool. And this tool is going to be used by the AI model. Now, why will this AI model need it? Because we are actually passing some prompts here. We are telling the AI, okay, find answer for any topic or object from Wikipedia, and then return a dictionary containing the answer. So we are actually telling it what it should be doing, where it should be getting its data. We are also telling it, giving it an example of how we want our responses to be. So as you can see here, we've given it some example. And then inside this function itself, we are calling the Wikipedia AI. And this is done through this method called search wiki title. It's going to take the query itself and it's going to pass it there. And of course, it's going to leverage onto this Wikipedia AI because it actually wants to give you more factual information, right? It's not just going to be generating a response based on what it has been trained to do so. And that's a beautiful thing about being able to build it this way, because sometimes we also want our AI to access external tools. Like, for example, if you wanted to, let's say, generate some data or get insight about weather, for example, the weather. How you would do this is that you would have to provide to it the weather API, because that's where it has all of the data, and it can go through it and be able to give you an accurate response of what you actually need. Because if you did not give the AI this, for instance, an API or data coming from a database and so forth, it would not actually be able to give you as accurate of a response. So this is how we are actually building this right now, to be able to get accurate responses based on our images. Even if you enter the image of, let's say, Eiffel Tower in France, you want to gain more insight about it. This is one way of how it would give you more accurate insights. So we've created our tool, and now we are going to be passing this tool to our LangChain agent, so that when we are creating our intelligent agent, it knows where to get information and what is expected and everything. We are giving it all these informations, right? We are feeding it the model as well. We are saying, okay, we are creating an intelligent agent. Please use the model Gemini 2.5 Pro, and then use this tool to give a more accurate response. Once we've done that, we can actually deploy our agent that we've created using this simple command here. Agent engines, the create, we are going to be passing our agent, the one that we've created here, and then we can deploy it. Now, why do we have to deploy it? Because right now, this code actually is just Python code, right? This is not Flutter code. So it is actually outside of our Flutter project. Now, if we want to use this AI that we've created, we have to deploy it, and then we are going to be able to access it inside of our mobile application. Otherwise, it's not going to be available. Now, you could have done the same thing, but creating it through the Vertex AI agent builder interface, and you would have created it there, and you would have deployed it there, and you would have received. You normally will receive an API from what you've built, and then you can also add it inside of your project. Now, let's see how you would do this. So here, let's say that uh, this part here is actually simple, right? It's how you're calling your API. It's normally the way that you would do it. It's just this way. So you are calling your API that you've created here, and then you're parsing your query. So here, as you can see, I have constructed my query such as the user is going to be saying, okay, this photo I've given you, you're going to be giving it a bit of some information, right? Saying this image is this and that, and then you're going to be sending it to the AI. And then if there's a response, you will see it will appear on the screen. Otherwise, it's going to tell you, okay, sorry, I can't answer that. So like I mentioned earlier, we are using the chat package. So here we are just calling this chat widget here, and we are just parsing. Well, I've made this simple, right? Because I just wanted to show you the main things that we can do, which is we're going to be sending our chats here. So underscore messages, we are going to have to use the onPress method and sending the user and everything. Now, as you can see here, I'm parsing my handle send press method, and I'm also creating it here. Right, and this is just taking your message and then, for example, sending it to the agent so that it can generate for you and an answer. Like for instance, this add message here is what, if I'm not wrong, okay, I did not add this code, I think, but this is how we are actually structuring our code to be able to talk to our AI. Now, let me show you through some images how this would look like. Unfortunately, I could not run this code due to the limited time that I had. I was quite taken up with work. I had to even work during the weekend. So normally, this is how this application would look like. So here it's, so of course it has already been built by the team. So you can deploy it, as you can see, onto different platforms. Now let me show you the code itself. So when you will be cloning this project, you will see that there will be two folders inside of the photo discovery folder. So the app being your Flutter project, and then you will have the AG Web. Now, this AG Web is basically how you are creating a backend to be able to call this AI agent, because here we are actually writing some code for it. There is a there is a README file as to how you could do this, and in fact, this README file is quite is descriptive enough to be able to get started. So you will have to create a few things. For example, you will have to create your bucket, your data store, and I think there's something else. Yeah, your cloud project ID. So you will have to add all of this here. But that's not an issue because since we already have this, all you need to do is run a few commands. It's in the README file, and you will be able to get started. You just need to have Docker installed. You can even use the functions available here to be able to add it onto the interface itself. If you don't want to write or to deploy it on a Docker, it's fine. You can deploy it online. I mean, through cloud. Now, okay, so let me show you. So this is, try to increase this. So basically, this is the file where we are actually generating our model. So this is what I showed you earlier. We have to be able to create an instance of our model and then pass a few parameters and everything. We or have to request for permission. So as you can see here, this is quite important. In fact, when you will be, let's say that you want to deploy an application, if you don't add these permissions, your application can get instantly rejected by the different stores, and they will ask you to look into it, because the reason for this is just that you are asking a user to access something external, like let's say camera, or they are accessing something inside of their phone itself rather than just using the application. So, which is why you need it. It's just some policies that has been set. So, which is why we request for permission. So this is the code, and the only way to make this run, of course, is just to be able to on the AI agent builder on the interface, and then you generate your keys, you add it there, and then you can get started. So this project is already built. Now I will be sending you this link in the chat so that you can go through it. Of course, if you have any questions, you can let me know, even offline, and I will try to respond to your messages and answer to any of your questions. So this was a bit about this presentation. It's a bit brief. It's a bit this presentation is a first for me because I've never really had a brief presentation without a demo. But I hope that you have been able to learn something new and that you have enjoyed this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Questions? I have one. Maybe you have one. You had something?
Yeah, actually, I also
Okay.
have one. I think you can see me. Zahra or Fatima?
Zahra.
Zahra. Okay. So
My
sorry.
bad.
Also my bad. So my main concern is like always like testing. So basically, I wonder like how do you test AI-driven features reliably?
What do you mean, like the way that we are?
Actually, like I exactly mean like the writing like some unit tests from like Flutter code base wise.
Well, let's take a look, for example, here, right? Even though you're writing your functions and you are deploying it on cloud or on Docker, you're still writing some prompts, right? And the way that you could do it, if you need to, I don't think if it's, wait, 1 second. If it's like you're writing a backend and it has like an AI agent, you're writing your prompts there, and that's where you're coding it inside of your Flutter project. This is where you will want to write your unit tests to test whether the prompts are correct, whether it's giving you the correct answers, or what is the percentage of hallucinations and everything. In this case, in this scenario, the only thing that you will be doing is that you will be leveraging onto the APIs. But you already have a backend. This is where you have deployed, you have written some codes for the AI agent, so your functions, your tools, and you will be deploying it to be able to use it through an API, right? So this is where you, in fact, write your unit test. But if you're doing something a bit more different, let's say that instead of having that, instead of having a backend, you're writing prompts or doing anything which is supposed to be doing on the backend side, you're doing it on the front end. Of course, you can write your unit test in a way that these queries, for example, like the prompts, whether like the same thing that I have mentioned, right? You just need to check for these different things. There are a checklist of things that you can review on to see whether your AI is behaving appropriately. And I also think that it depends on your use case, right? For me personally, I work on a project which is not really Flutter related. It was like I was using React, but it doesn't really matter. It's just the same concept. But I was building this like a smart AI which should be able to basically read through CVs, right? So one way I did most of the AI thing in the backend side of things, and that's how I was able to review. Okay, is it able, for instance, to uh, let's say generate responses fully, right? What is the limitation? Could it be because of the tokens, or could it be because of things like temperature, or what is it, right? So I think these are things that should be left in the backend and should be unit tested in the backend itself. I don't think that we should be bringing this really to the front end side of things. Even though if you're bringing it, it's just simple API test, right? I mean, I'm saying simple API test, but it's just your regular API test that you would actually do.
Understand. Thank you.
Very, very interesting.
I have a question.
Please, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I am Nurullah. I am Flutter developer for a year. My question is, can we use simple AI features on device with Flutter? And what about the heating issues, about battery issues?
I don't think I got your first. Let's look into the first part. I don't think I got the first part. What was it again, please?
Run AI, simple AI
Oh,
on
okay,
device.
okay. The RAM part, right? But like I mentioned, when you're building your AI, right, you won't be building this directly inside of your application. Like for instance, right now I'm talking about building an AI agent. You're not really writing this in your, because when you're building your mobile application using Flutter, this is just front end side, right? And it is not really advisable to try to build an AI agent inside of this Flutter project. You can do it in the backend side of things, and it won't really be an issue once again because you're just calling an API. So this RAM part and everything, of course, you would need to deal with it, but it's not. It won't have anything to do per se with your mobile application. I believe that the only thing that you will need to do, let's say that it's just a simple, I mean, I'm saying simple once again, but it's just an API. And you need to just like cater for things like, I can't remember the words anymore, but let's say things like tokens, right? You need to look into whether you need to be able to handle all of these things, but it should not really affect your application per se.
Very good point. I think I will also add something there because I was exploring this topic as well. And I think running AI in edge, like on device, it's a trending topic right now. I actually worked on a project. Let me try to share it. Maybe it could be interesting. Okay. Yes. So what I was working on is bringing this AI Edge SDK that is developed by Google. It's pretty limited, as you were saying, but it's still a beginning, and it basically allows you to run inference, AI inference on your device without connecting to APIs. Although this is only supported for only a few devices. So I think back then was available only on Pixel devices. But yeah, it's I'm trying to scroll here. Okay, sorry, one sec. But yeah, it's a good topic, and I think Apple is investing a lot on that as well. So check it out if you want. Yeah, it's only available for Pixel 9 devices because that's the hardware that is needed by this SDK by Google. And it's a bit tricky because also the emulator does not support it. So I had to buy one basically to build and test this. But very interesting, especially if you're working with AI and sensitive data, for example, and you don't want to go through an API. That's probably something you would like to have a look at. Sorry to hijack your answer, Zara.
No, actually, it depends, right? I did not really work. I'm not really a fan of having to use things which should be in the backend, in the front end side of things. So I would not know really if you were to use it, what would be the implications. I just know that it's not really a good idea, and we should really like try to avoid that. But one thing that I noticed that when I was trying to, I saw AI code there and it reminded me of AR. I don't know why, but it reminded me of something like AR that I did work on. Like when you try to work on these things directly in the front end side of things, it does make your phone, I mean, the mobile laggy. And I'm not quite sure how to handle that because I did not really work on this. But this is maybe an area of exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's the bleeding edge of technology right now. So yeah. I had yeah. Sorry, please go on.
Devices are not available for big data. I understand.
Yes, I mean, I think there is right now people like companies are working towards that, but obviously it's not as fast as using an API, and there is a lot of room for improvement. I agree with you, but it's something still that is worth keeping an eye on because it's probably the next thing and the future as well. So, and Flutter obviously plays a role into that because it's a mobile framework. So yeah, very interesting. I hope we answer your question. And I also had a question regarding Vertex AI. I think you mentioned the agent builder, if I'm not mistaken. What's your feedback and why do you use that compared to other solutions?
Do you mean Vertex AI?
The Vertex AI agent builder, or
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. I get it. So, one interesting thing that I've seen with it is that, well, of course, it's the way that you are able to build your AI agents. I have only been experimenting with it. I did not really work on this in project because I don't really work as mobile now. I'm more into backend, but the way that I've seen things is that you are actually it's very straightforward. You have like a library of AI agents there, and even if you wanted to build your AI agent, it's like anyone could do it, right? Let's say that for example, that README file that they have there, I'm sure they have some sort of documentation. When it's just asking you to build like the bucket to upload your data set there, for example, to create your data storage, then just to write a simple function, right? So it's that straightforward. I do think that it is in fact very user friendly. In terms of having to use the other ones, to be honest, I can't quite remember right now what they are because I'm quite tired, to be honest. Like my brain has freezed for some reason, but it's really worth checking it out. It's that simple. Like I've seen, because I've worked with other ones, and I can tell you this one is like so straightforward that you could close your eyes and do something with it. And another very interesting thing, like I mentioned during the session, is that you have pre-built AI agents, right? So you can just add on to what you already have and use it, because most of the time when we are trying to build solutions for people, we think that we know what they need and we are trying to reinvent the wheel and everything, but it's really not that. We can just use the things that they are giving to us, and we can build on top of it to make it better and to customize it for what our customers need, right? So these are like the main points that I just wanted to tell you. I'm not sure I'm quite answering your question right now. I'm pretty sure I'm not, but that's my
yeah.
take on it.
It makes sense. Basically, it's very user friendly from what I understand, and you stick with it
Yeah.
because there is no reason to change.
Yeah, like I've seen others, right? But there's another one that I've seen, but I don't really remember anymore. But this one is, I did not have to do much into like researching and everything. It was that easy
Yeah.
to be able to pick up and to get. It's that easy to be able to pick up and get started with it.
Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. If there are no other questions, I thank you a lot again. What time is it in the Mauritius now?
It's 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
10
Okay. Then we let you go. It's definitely warmer than here. It's minus 15, I think.
Oh my God. I wish it would be like winter here because this how do you say, the temperature, it's like really hot. It's unbelievable. Like I can't be walking. Like if I have to be going out, I would rather not go out. That's how bad it is right now.
Well, I can assure you that people here will say the opposite probably, but yes, thanks a lot again, and hope to see
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Ciao.
Bye.
Okay, I think we could end the call if this works. All right, just leave it.